Hello, and welcome back to the Spoiler Cast, the show where we talk about movies and we don't care about spoiling them because it is the Spoiler Cast. My name is Tobias, and with me, as always, is my sister and trusted co-host, Rebecca.
Hello!
Hello! And in this episode, I don't even have a witty intro for this. We're going to talk about Babylon.
Yeah.
I guess that's a precursor to the entire discussion, because,
Yes. We went into this, we went to the movie thinking, yeah, this is gonna be epic and grand and fucking fantastic. And we walked out going like, this was a waste of 3 hours.
Yeah.
3+ hours.
3+ hours. Yeah, so this is technically, for us, it's a 2023 release. But for basically everyone else, it's a 2022 release. So I can say this is not the worst, but it's one of the worst movies of 2022, and it's definitely the worst movie of 2023 so far.
Yeah.
This was, wow. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I'd heard that it was not up to par with his other movies. Like, this was his worst movie so far.
Yes.
The director, what's his name? Damien Chazelle.
Damien Chazelle.
Yeah.
That's how you say it.
And I was like, sure, but he's made nothing but bangers before this. Whiplash, one of the greatest movies of all time. La La Land, one of the greatest movies of all time. First Man, really good movie, I suppose.
I don't know if I've seen it.
So I was like, sure, maybe it won't be like the greatest movie ever, but I think people are just, they've overhyped it, and now they're disappointed. So I was like, I'm prepared to enjoy this movie, and I did.
Yeah.
For the first 5 minutes, I gotta say, it starts with a great laugh. Elephant poop. That's funny. It's funny.
Yeah.
I like it. It's funny. Poop's always funny. Poop and peep. But then it just launches into this non-stop barrage of just excess.
Yeah.
Like, on screen and off screen, so to speak. Like, because the movie's, like we said, it's over 3 hours long. It does not have to be 3 hours long.
No, God, no. As we sat there, I was like, this is the longest outro of a movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It ended like 15 times. And then just kept going.
It's like Return of the King.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, dude. I'll give it, like, the first hour was fine.
Sure.
Second hour's like, yeah, okay, we get it. Kind of over it, and then third hour's like, yeah, end, just end, please. Finn, like, stop, like, cut to black. But no, never happened. Well, eventually, but an hour too late.
Yeah. It was like, I think it was like 30 minutes before the title came up, which was a very short-lived trend last year of having the title of a movie come up like way into the movie. If you remember, Drive My Car didn't have the title card until like 53 minutes in, and that was like a 2-hour movie. And then Fresh did the same thing, where I think it was 40 minutes into a 2-hour movie before the title card came up. I don't know. People was like, "Oh, it's so cool. Yet. It's so different." And then no other movie did it, because what does it matter?
It's stupid.
What does it matter when the fucking title card comes up?
You don't even have to have a title card if you don't really want to.
But this one did it as well. But here it was kind of funny, because the title card comes up. Everyone's seen the trailer. The first 40 minutes is the party that you see on the poster in the trailer. And the title card pops up just as the main characters are leaving the party. And there's like all these big revelations right at that moment. Fuck it, it's spoiler cast. Margot Robbie's character, she gets her big break, basically. And and what's his name, Diego Calva, Manny. Also,
Yes.
he just kind of falls into the movie business by the way of Brad Pitt, and that's where Jack Conrad. Yeah. And that's where the title card pops up, where these two fresh faces in Hollywood, just their dreams become true. They become part of the movie industry, which is what they're talking about when they're doing cocaine in that room. They kind of
at the party,
because they're not really invited to the party. Manny
kind of works
there working, but he's not invited to the party. And Margot Robbie, Nellie Leroy, as she calls herself.
Yeah. She's crashing
the party, but they both want to get into the movie business, and they both do at the end of that party. And that's when bam, Babylon comes up, and it's like, hey, great, end the movie there, and it would have been great. That
sort
party
of.
is like it's like a microcosm of the 1920s Hollywood. Like it represents everything, the excess and the debauchery.
So much happened.
And what was fun in movie making back then, because that's also what the whole movie is really about. It's about
it's about the development of filmmaking.
Yeah, development of filmmaking, but more like not just, but a big part of it is like the decline of Hollywood, even back then.
Yes,
because just like we talked about, I think we talked about it in the last episode. I think about Megan. We talked about the waves of horror movies, right? Yeah,
yeah. Yes.
Hollywood has kind of gone through that as well. You had this decadence and creativity in the 20s when film was still new, when it was really like starting to happen in the 10s and the 20s. And you could basically do whatever you wanted on film. But then the 30s came. First of all, the talkies, which was a whole new thing, which then, in a way, in the beginning, before they managed to understand the technology, it did stifle film. It did. Just like we see in the movie.
Well, yeah. Yes.
Because nobody could talk on film all of a sudden, and all the technology was so shitty, so it really hampered filmmaking. But then also that happened more in the 50s, but it happened in the 30s as well. You had this like this wave of morality coming in and kind of stifling creativity as well. And that's kind of what we see, of course. That's what with Margot Robbie's character, because she's so wild and free.
Yes.
So she doesn't fit in to the new Hollywood that's happening in the 30s. And
the fancy pants stuff.
Exactly. And so it's really like, it's both like a love letter and a bit of criticism towards Hollywood and the filmmaking industry. Not just how it was back then, but kind of seeing as it is now. Because then we had...
Sure.
Because that wave of morality kind of continued into the 40s and 50s even. But then we had a new wave of American directors, in the 60s and 70s. You had Scorsese and Dennis Hopper and Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, all those people. Creating this new Hollywood, and we had this wave of... That's why everyone talks about the 70s having the best movies. Because, they kind of rejected the old Hollywood. And it was also this... there was this whole sea change, of course, which Quentin Tarantino brings up in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where, the mood kind of changed after the killing of... damn it, what's her name? Margot Robbie in that movie.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot her name.
Something.
I know what you mean.
It's
Sharon Tate.
Right, Sharon Tate.
Yeah.
And how that was kind of the end of that the swinging 60s. And then we got the more
glamour, so to speak, right?
Yeah, which was part of the.
You got a bit more gritty and real.
Which was part of the 50s, of course. The carefree but kind of moral filmmaking of the 50s and 60s. And then we had the 70s, which was this wonderful creative era of film. Then we had the horrible 80s, where sure we have a lot of good movies, but we have a lot of good easy movies. Like There are no. I mean, of course there are, but like the big movies everyone remembers from the 80s are like Back to the Future, Star Wars, E.T., I don't know what else, fucking Teen Wolf. You know, there are no like big heavy movies that people really remember from the 80s. It's all light entertainment because that was the time.
Yes.
And that kind of continued and into the 90s. Which, and then a lot of that was in the horror genre and just declined. It was terrible. And now we're kind of back. It's kind of swinging around. After we've had this horrible subwave of cape shit movies, Marvel movies. We're getting like...
We're getting deep and dark and heavy cinema again. But still some lightness and easy going.
Yeah, it's always going to be that. But,
it's always going to be that, yeah.
I'd say...
But they're
quality cinema is coming back.
They're braving into...
No.
Yes. I mean, we saw it with Pig, for Christ's sake.
Yes, God.
Still my favorite movie of, I don't even know what year that was.
2021.
Right.
2021, yeah.
For us, we probably saw it in 2022, to be honest. But.
So that's really what this movie about, and I think they chose the 20s because it was more fun that way.
It's more...
It's a bygone era. It's more mythical almost.
Yeah, and when you think of the 20s, you think of the glamour and the crazy parties and, the Gatsby style stuff. Which this movie obviously does have some of it, but it also has the very gritty and dark other side of it, I suppose. So you get to see some real stuff in a way with the filmmaking, how that was, because I learned a lot about how... I don't know how much it's actually true, but I got like a more... I've never thought of the way they had microphones or like camera boxes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I never thought of that before. Because I don't have that interest, to be honest.
No, but that's how it worked.
Yeah.
But
and I can understand why that was restricting. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But like... So the message here or whatever, the theme, the story is very, very, very simple. It's just like, yes, how great it was the best of time, it was the worst of times, basically.
We get it from 3 different perspectives, basically.
And I mean, we were sitting there, whispering to each other and basically just pointing out like, oh, now this is going to happen, and now this is going to happen, because it was also for me, like, we knew exactly what was going to happen. It's a rise and fall story, like the party has to end eventually, that whole thing. I mean, I don't know, you pointed out something, I don't remember exactly what it was. Well, you pointed out towards the end there where Margot Robbie, like, now she's just going to disappear. And she literally disappears into the darkness.
Into darkness.
And just before that, it was like, because Brad Pitt, he's kind of sad because his career is ending. Because people don't like him when he talks in movies.
Yeah, he got a really, like, what's it called? He's not a great send-off. He's just, sort of disappearing into the crowd.
Yeah.
Almost being laughed off stage, which is terrible.
Sure. And then he's like, he's talking to the Faye, who the Chinese lady, who was like a big deal behind the scenes in the 20s, but they, she didn't fit into the new Hollywood, so they had to fire her, earlier in the movie. And it's like, oh, she's back now doing something else, and they talk about the old days and blah blah blah. And then he just walks up to his hotel room because they're in the foyer drinking. And you just see him, like, walk around, and the camera stops outside the door. Even before that, when he's walking up, I was like, he's going up to kill himself, right?
Yeah, we both said it. We're like, he's gonna kill himself.
So it was just so, it was predictable. It was, honestly, for all, something I did like about it, I mean, it was beautifully made, like, on a technical level.
Yes.
Like, all the sets, all the clothing, the music, even though the music sounded very derivative of La La Land. You could definitely hear that it was... I gotta check, though.
But there's a point to the music that I want to, talk about more. Well, the music isn't specifically the thing. However, the silence plays a big part in this movie.
Okay. What do you mean?
anytime there was a significant moment where someone realized something, where someone like got to a point where this is where my life changes, it got deadly silent. They turned off all the music, all the background noise. You could only hear the people in view, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
Or I think at one point you could hear the phone call only, and then the person who's on screen. Yeah. So they kept doing that whenever something like enormous happened, often a sad thing, or like semi-sad at least, not like happy stuff. They would just turn off everything. It would deadly silent. That was a nice touch because it became such a jarring difference to all the other noises we had throughout the rest of the movie.
Sure, yeah.
Because whenever the movie had stuff going on, it was a lot of people, a lot of sound, a lot of visuals, a lot of everything. But then as soon as it got real and deep, it was often just one or two people and silence.
Yeah, well, that's not really unique to this.
No, but they did a very short cut between every single time.
Okay.
Like it went from 100 to 0 in like 0.1 second.
I didn't notice that. But I just looked it up.
They didn't do it too many times though. They did, like, I can understand doing it once or twice. They did it like 5 times.
Yeah.
And towards the last ones, you're like, yeah, we've seen this now. Yeah. You can stop. Like, add some mood music or something. Just dead silence got boring after a while. It was impactful, but repetitive.
Yeah.
Is that the word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I looked it up. It's Justin Hurwitz who made the music. So...
The same guy, right?
It kind of sounded like B-sides from La La Land.
Yes,
a lot of that trumpet playing.
Yes, what was his name? I liked that character. That was one of the few characters I actually liked.
Because he was barely in the movie. He was so much like and he kind of disappeared after the first 2 hours and didn't show up until the end. Then, but
Sidney Palmer, right?
Sidney Palmer was a character.
Jovan Adepo.
Yeah. Because he was the one of the main characters, so to speak, that kind of he saw the folly of Hollywood and left it behind. Because they literally made a black guy put on blackface, and he was like, "I'm done," yes. And that's when he left, the business, so to speak. And we'll see him pop up when everyone else. Brad Pitt has killed himself. Manny is on the run. He's on the lam in Mexico. And Margot Robbie, whatever, Nelly, she's just gone. Nobody knows where she is. And he's the only one who's actually still, like, doing what he loved. Because it was all about, they all just wanted to do what they loved, acting, making movies. And for him it was playing music. And he's the only one who's actually doing it. Because he left all that craziness behind. It's like, it was so...
He's the moral here. You play it cool. You can still do what you love without going too far.
Yeah, and it's
where's the fun in that? No, but
it's about the craft. It's about the love for the craft. It's not about the business. Sure. It's just like, we get it. It's so on the nose.
It was just supposed to be the other side. Yeah, but it was supposed to be the other side. The comparison to Margot Robbie's or Nellie Leroy's chaotic rise to fame.
Yeah.
And subsequent end, I suppose.
It was trash, is what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
the only
you were asking me when Margot Robbie gets her first part in that movie when she's dancing in the saloon.
Yeah.
And the woman who saved her from the street, the other actress comes in. You kept asking me, who's that? Because we both recognized her.
Yes, I recognize her, but I still can't find her in the cast list.
Samara Weaving from what's it called? Ready or Not. She's the lady who they're hunting in Ready or Not. She's also been in the terrible movie Guns Akimbo. And I guess she was in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, but I don't remember her in that movie. Whatever.
Where is she? There she is.
Yeah. It was just, it was an internal thing.
Oh.
And Rebecca kept asking me who's that woman? I'm like, I don't know what she.
It's so annoying. No, but I've seen her in Ready or Not and The Babysitter. Oh, okay, that's where I recognize her from. Yeah. She's also one of those people who get like for some reason, people are like, oh, she looks so much like Margot Robbie.
Well, they both have those.
No, she doesn't.
They both have the eyes.
Yeah, I guess. There was a lot of people, though, that was like, I know that face.
Yes.
Because I realize now that, Olivia Wilde was in this.
Yeah, she was Brad Pitt's
She played one
fiancé,
of the
first one. Or wife.
Yeah, the first one. And then Phoebe Tonkin was in it. I recognize her from something.
Of course, Max Mignella.
Bunch of his...
PJ Byrne.
Yeah.
Flea was in the movie as a studio executive. And, what's his name? Ah, shit. Fuck. The guy who owns the house in the beginning. They keep talking about him, but you don't see him.
Oh, well, yeah. What was his name? Wallace? Something?
Wallach. Hold on. He's a Jeff. Damn, what's his name?
Kaya Gerber's in it. I know who that is.
I don't know who that is. What's his name? Jeff Garlin.
Oh, right,
Jeff Garlin from Curb Your Enthusiasm, of course.
Yes. And other stuff.
And other stuff. So yeah, a bunch of people you recognized.
Yes.
So because it's that kind of movie.
In both big and small roles.
Yes.
We had I kept waiting for Tobey Maguire to turn up. He did. Towards the end.
Oh, and of course, Eric Roberts.
Fantastic role, but still.
Gross. What, he was gross.
Yes.
And there we had another famous, what's his name? The guy from American History X, who lost all that weight. Everyone's so happy that he lost the weight.
Who?
The guy who takes the money and keeps spitting everywhere.
Spitting? Yeah. Oh, Ethan Suplee?
Yeah, Ethan Suplee. Yeah, exactly.
Suplee? Yeah.
So, yeah.
My name is Earl. That's all I
my name is Earl, yeah.
And Mallrats.
Yeah. Ha ha ha! You dumb bastard! It's not a schooner, it's a sailboat! Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite lines of all time, because he says it like an 8-year-old. He just laughs, so he's just so happy that... Because you've seen the movie, right? Mallrats. He's looking at that 3D painting.
Ages ago, though, but...
He's looking at those 3D paintings, where you're supposed to see a pattern. And he says, you're supposed to see a sailboat, but I can't see the fucking sailboat. And everyone else keeps seeing it, and then this kid walks up and is like, oh, look, a schooner. And he just looks at him like, oh, he's so happy that he saw the wrong thing, and he just says, like, you dumb bastard. That's funny. You know what this movie was? Not funny.
Not funny. It had, like, a few dumb
I did
jokes.
laugh a couple times. Like I said, the elephant pool was funny.
Yeah, I didn't find that funny, though, but I don't have that sense of humor.
It was very funny. There was some other time. There was more like, oh yeah, when Margot Robbie starts puking everywhere. That was funny. There's a lot of bodily fluids, which was funny, except for the Mexican lady in the beginning peeing on the big fat guy. That was just gross.
Yeah, and then dying.
Yeah. Well, I guess she died. That wasn't funny. That was just gross because he liked it, and that's not funny.
Yeah. Yeah, he was weird. Too weird. Yeah. Too weird. I did like all of the performances were great.
Yeah.
There's no really complaining about it. It's a shame that Margot Robbie keeps getting casted as this dumb blonde Jersey girl who just wants to be famous and liked by everyone, but everyone just humors her for a while and then hates her. Like, we've seen that now. Can you stop putting her in those roles, please? She can now obviously act. Like, stop.
Well,
that's all I can remember seeing her in, which is annoying.
I'm just looking at what else she's done. I mean, yeah, she's good. Well, yeah, I guess it's the same kind of character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, sort of.
Obviously, Suicide Squad, Wolf of Wall Street,
Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey's the same character, yeah.
Yeah.
She's good in Bombshell. Have you seen Bombshell?
I don't know. I've actually seen that.
It's the one where a group of women.
I know which one it is. I never watched it though. She is good in Mary Queen of Scots.
I haven't seen that one.
Mary Queen Elizabeth.
But
she does a completely different thing there, which I like.
Yeah, I really like Bombshell. I think that should have gotten more attention than it got. Whatever.
Yeah. She does the same in Focus, basically. She's
Jersey
girl.
I haven't seen Focus though, man. She's in.
You haven't seen Focus?
No, why would I watch that?
What? This is Will Smith in 2015.
Yeah,
Come on, everyone watched
Will
that.
Smith in 2015, exactly. It was kind of passive. For me, Will Smith kind of lost his thing after I Am Legend. That was his last like good part, for me at least.
That might be true.
After
actually.
that, I don't know. He picked the wrong movies over and over again. He did do Men in Black 3, which was surprisingly good for the third Men in Black movie.
Wait, jeez, I was watching his producer shit. I don't care about producer.
I mean, other than that, I don't know. He did.
King Richard was good though, but that was last year,
yeah.
right? No, 2021.
That was okay. But he's done like.
Oh yeah, that's true. He did a
Yeah,
lot
like
of shit.
Hancock, 7 Pounds, After Earth, Concussion, Suicide Squad, Collateral Beauty, Bright, Aladdin, Gemini Man, Spies in Disguise, Bad Boys 3. I mean, you see, there's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You just picked the wrong movies.
He
over
did
and over
try
again.
though with King Richard and Emancipation.
But,
I feel that was his like. I'm gonna go good acting again. Why are we talking about Will Smith?
Yeah, because you mentioned Focus. Just quickly, King Richard was good. It wasn't great,
yeah.
but it was good. And that.
No,
but then
it was
I've heard
good.
that Emancipation is just Oscar bait bullshit, basically. Unfortunately.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Anyway, back to Babylon. You know why we're just talking about other stuff? Because there's nothing else to say.
There was
Yeah,
nothing.
There's
in
nothing
it.
more to say.
No, I said when we left, I had like 2 or 3 things I liked
Oh,
about
right.
the movie.
Yeah. You didn't want to talk about it yesterday. You wanted to wait for now.
No, I wanted to say it, but I did it now because it was the silence. I liked the silence the first couple of times. I thought that was impactful. After that, it was a bit annoying.
Okay.
But it was like, yeah, this is cool. It worked for a few of them. I loved Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie's performances. Fantastic. And Diego Calva, I don't know where I've seen him before. I think he did a great job. And I liked like the feeling every time they were on set in the beginning, before they started developing everything. When it was just silent movies. I liked that. The feeling we got, the chaos and the urgency with everything, because, you know, they had to chase the light. They didn't care about all the noise, so they had an orchestra on set. Loved it. That was fun.
That's what was fun about making movies back then.
Yeah, those 3 were the 3 things I liked about this 3-hour movie.
But even with those things, I don't know, it's very subjective, but it's hard for me to like sympathize or like characters who are complete fuck ups. Like
oh yeah, like, no. Margot Robbie's character was so frustrating.
It's like she's a moron from day one.
Oh yeah.
She keeps like she's first of all, she's entitled.
Oh,
very
yes.
entitled.
Even though she
can,
I don't know if she should be though.
No, she shouldn't be. Sure,
because she comes from
she
nothing.
backs it up with having given good performances, at least in one movie. Or when
whenever she works with that lady director,
she does become a star. So,
who, by the way,
she just disappears.
Were women directors in the 20s?
Yes, it was different.
I never thought of that. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
I mean, one of the most famous directors of all time is from like the 30s, and she's a lady. Unfortunately, she made propaganda movies for the Nazis, but still, Leni Riefenstahl, one of the most famous directors of all time, made some of the best movies of all time. Cool. You just have to ignore the Nazi stuff, but she made wonderful movies, like when it comes to the visuals and everything.
Yeah,
you just gotta like block out the Nazism.
The dynamic between Nellie Leroy and the female director, which I have no clue. Did she have a name?
I think so. Ruby something, I think. Once again, she kind of pops up in the movie and then she just disappears. Yeah,
she's in like for 2 shoots. Yeah. But then she just disappears.
Yeah, because she doesn't
love her, whoever she is. Like
she didn't fit into the new Hollywood, you know. The patriarchal not. Hollywood. Oh,
I don't think that was a thing they wanted to highlight, though. I hope not.
Yes, it was, because that's what it was. You know.
That's why she disappeared?
No, not specifically that, but you didn't see any other female directors after her.
No, that's true. That's true.
But it's also like, yeah. So she's just. I mean, I don't mind, people partying and being hedonistic and doing all the drugs in the world. But I also just I probably wouldn't hang out with people like that. Because it's just not my crowd, so they're kind of annoying to me because I'm...
It might be fun, once a year.
It wouldn't even... But that's just because I'm introverted. I couldn't be a second in there. I would die, literally die if I was in there, in that party in the beginning. I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
Well, as soon as the elephant walked in, I'd probably walk out. Jesus Christ.
But then it was... and then... So there was never this... And I understand that's part of what makes it fun and exciting. It was just partying all the time and then showing up for your shoot and just giving that performance, and then you're done. You're a star. I get the allure of that.
Yeah.
But I would. I prefer characters like Sidney. What was his name? Sidney, the trumpet player,
Sidney Palmer,
who actually cares about his craft.
Exactly. Even if Nellie Leroy was a fantastic actress, we saw that in the first, proper scene she gets to do with she can turn on and shut off tears like it's a faucet. She can, dance and then go into emotion in the snap of a finger. Amazing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, she only did it because she wanted them to like her, so she could get the money, and she didn't feel like she wanted to act. She wanted to act for the money.
Yeah, and the same thing with Brad Pitt, Jack Conrad. He constantly drunk, not giving a fuck. And he walks onto set to film. Literally, they're shooting this giant medieval epic, and he's in the movie, at least for what we see, of course. For one scene, all he does is he walks up. He
No. That wasn't even.
I know, but she walks into frame, kisses a woman, and that's it. I mean, sure.
That was probably the last shot of the movie, though. But
that's what we see, and I understand. And they capture this magical moment, of course, because the sun is setting. They're setting off the butterfly, the butterfly that lands on him. They're setting off these the cannons in the background because the war is still going on behind him, and all that. Yes. That's the magic of cinema. But he was blind drunk doing it. He didn't act. He didn't do anything. He was just a pretty face.
Especially because there was no dialogue in it.
Exactly,
He literally just had to be a pretty face.
And we didn't really see him care much about the craft of acting other than, now I just get to do shitty movies because I'm a has-been.
He wanted to be liked. That's about it.
So I couldn't really sympathize with those characters. They were kind of shallow. Then the only depth they had was oh no, my friend died and I'm a has-been. Now I'm sad. And in the end,
yeah, but it's still he the way he replaced people. Anyone could be replaced except for George, of course, because George was his true friend.
Who died off
He was the first one who told me. Yeah, he was the first person to. What is that? He was the first person to tell me I had talent.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you didn't, though, did you?
And then Margot Robbie, who she didn't.
She basically got by on her looks.
She got by on her looks, and she couldn't fit into the high society of the 1930s Hollywood, which is okay.
Because she was a hick.
Yeah,
she was vulgar and unladylike.
But then she couldn't back it up as an actress. She was terrible in the talkies. Everyone making fun of her squeaky voice, which is kind of funny because she has a very nice voice. I think, at least.
Yes, but she does. No, she does have a nice voice. The
character's supposed to have a squeaky voice. But we also know that they talked very differently in movies back then. It was all about this. Hey, because you had to talk like that to register.
They showed us. It had to be kind of monotone. You can't really do too much fluctuation because then the mics would just fuck out.
Yeah. So,
and she was, as a Jersey girl, they're very, what's it called? Melodic in how they speak.
Nasally, squeaky.
Yeah, that too. But there's a lot of like highs and lows.
Sure. So, and instead of that's part of the character, but instead of actually working on her, what's it called? Diction or infliction or whatever the word is. Working on her voice with a voice coach.
Speaking.
No, she just kept doing drugs, gambling away all her money to the point where she owes like this crazy gangster $85,000. And then she comes knocking on Manny's door, the guy who's actually made something of himself. He's a studio executive. That's basically, except for the owner of the studio, that's about as high up as you can get on the ladder, so to speak. She walks into his life and just like, oh, I need your help, Manny. You're the only one who believes in me. I need $85,000 or they're going to pour acid on my pussy. I was just like, what?
Yeah, she's a toxic friend.
Yes. And he has to throw away his entire life and career because she fucked up. And the worst part is
she's just leading him on.
That too. Because they meet in the beginning, and they do all the cocaine in the party. That's how they become friends. Then after,
where she explains, I am a star. I'm not going to become one. I'm already a star.
Yeah, they have the same ambitions. Yeah. But then in the movie, they literally see each other like 3 more times. And
and it's always with like a year or 2 in between.
But for some reason, he's still willing to throw everything away because te amo, Nelly, te amo. It's like, why?
Because she's a pretty girl who noticed him at that one party.
But then you have to show us that in the movie. You can't just have 3 scenes in a 3-hour movie where they don't really have that much chemistry.
She doesn't love him, though.
No. That's why she just walks away in the end.
That's why we never get to see them together, because she doesn't care. Whenever he sees her, he's just enchanted by her looks and her, I don't know, blonde hair, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, she's pretty, but Jesus Christ, dude.
She's very pretty, but... Well, in this movie, she looks kind of haggard. I guess that's part of the character, but Jesus Christ.
I mean, she's still pretty for an addict, but, you know.
Yeah.
Sounds weird.
Heroin chic, as they called it, like 15 years ago.
Almost, yeah. Oh, no, that's more. That was the 90s.
Oh, it was. I thought it was like mid-2000s.
Yeah. Nah.
Anyway,
no.
I don't know. So, I mean, everything falls.
This movie was much about nothing.
It was, everything just falls flat for me. Except for, like, the cinematography, I suppose, and the set design. Like...
No, but even, like, sometimes the cinematography also got a bit, like, yes, we've seen this now. This is getting repetitive. They had, like, patterns almost. Yeah. Got annoying towards the end.
Yeah. And, of course, it ends, they fast forward 20 years, because in the end, Manny and Nelly are going to leave Los Angeles because she owes them money. And
because they fucked up when they try to pay the Tobey Maguire weirdo off, back
with fake money,
which I told you as soon as I saw it. Yeah, that's fake.
Yeah.
And then we had like a 15-minute runtime of things happening before the Tobey Maguire character realized, they're fake.
Where they are,
we know, dude.
Where they are figuratively, but also literally descending into hell. Ooh, showing the dark side of it all. Ooh, oh my God.
What was he said? No, you can't party in LA anymore, but this is where the real party.
Welcome to the asshole of Los Angeles. It's like
they had cage fights
and they had like slaves down there, and they were like locked up in cages.
What's it called when you have like porn with people who are like get like amputated and shit?
Amputee porn? There's not I don't think there's a specific.
No, there is. I don't remember what it's called. It's weird.
I don't know.
It's mentioned in American Horror Story.
Okay, yeah, I don't watch it, so I don't know.
That's why I remember there's a name for it.
Sure.
Yeah, because that's what I watched. Dude, no, fuck's sake. They had like freaks and stuff. It was
yeah,
weird.
and then of course when they got to
the dude who ate the bat?
the deepest layer of hell, there was a guy who if you gave him money, he would eat a live rat. Ooh! It's like
why was that the weirdest stuff? I don't get it. Also, I thought that was Bautista at first, but
no, he was too big. Batista's old, man. He's not that big anymore.
Yeah, no, that's
sorry,
true, that's
sorry.
True.
Anyway, so they run away after Manny almost gets killed by like a hitman or whatever. He's like, get out of here, leave LA and never come back. But he comes back 20 years later. And he has a wife and a daughter, and they walk up to the old studio where he worked, Kinoscope, and they just look at it, and the guard comes up and like, oh no, we're just looking. Like, I used to work here, you know. Oh, really? Yeah, like 20 years ago. Now I run a little radio store in New York. It's pretty good. And then he's just walking by himself. You know, his wife and daughter, they go off to buy some ice cream or whatever. He's like, I'll see you later. And he walks into the cinema and watches Singing in the Rain, which is, of course, a movie about when movies started using sound. You know, they reference Singing in the Rain earlier in the movie, but like I think we pointed out a couple of times where it's like, this is like Singing in the Rain, and I haven't even seen Singing in the Rain, but I still was like, this is like Singing in the Rain, right?
Yeah.
And he's watching, he's like, oh my god, and it made him remember everything. He remembered how wonderful and glorious it was, and he starts crying in the cinema. Oh, it's so beautiful.
And that's where the weirdest scene in the entire movie came.
Yeah, because
when you started seeing clips from other movies.
Yeah, and there's like these, and
colors
blending and becoming darker, which I see. It's like, I think he's supposed to be like both the good and the bad. You know how the colors. Eventually, they go from bright, beautiful colors, become dark and darker and darker, but then it still ends on a happy note when he looks up again. Just like show like...
Yeah, but it was...
Once again, it was the worst of times, it was the best of times.
But it was so weird to have... Or did I, like, imagine it? There were clips from, like, Avatar and shit.
Yes, because it was supposed to show that, like, you know, the magic of cinema. It's not that he saw that. It was just... It was a...
No, I get it. It was for us.
Showing that, like,
yes,
the past is present, you know? That kind of thing.
Sure. It still freaks me out, to be honest.
It's still happening to this day. We're, like we said, waves. Yeah. It's the same thing.
But it freaked me out. I thought it was so weird.
I thought that was the best scene in the movie, because it felt like a Stan Brakhage film. Because he only died, or I guess, I don't know if he's dead, maybe. He made, like, little shorts where he like took thousands or like hundreds and hundreds of frames and just painted them in different colors, or put like moth wings on the film, and then just ran it through a projector. Yeah, okay. So it was just colors flashing or wings flashing.
Cool.
Yeah, it was art, art film.
Yeah, art.
But it's fun. It's cool. I was like, I wrote that in my letterbox. Like, I love the 1 minute before the end where the movie became a Stan Brakhage film. I like that. The rest was...
I liked it, but it freaked me out at the same time.
Yeah, it was weird.
Because it felt... I thought I was, like, hallucinating or something. I don't know if the flashing lights fucked with my brain. I don't know.
And it was like... They were like recapping the film in that last like 2 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Just to really hammer home, like, yeah, there was some darkness there, but my God, ain't film magical? Because that was also the whole thing. We love movies. Like, oh my God. That's also very. That was the one thing. That's very Oscar bait to make a movie about my love for cinema.
Yeah. I like, that was the one thing I liked about Brad Pitt's character, that he felt like he kind of liked the development of movies, at least, even though he obviously didn't get much benefit from it. He still appreciated it, and he was like, even though he needed some convincing, I think it was was it called, what was her name? Estelle, I think? The, like, writer or
the journalist, yeah.
Or Eleanor. Yeah. She, like, explained to him, like, even if whatever's happening now sucks for you because, well, your career is dwindling, people are going to be able to watch you in 50 years. Babies born in 50 years will watch you and feel like they're living life through you.
Yeah, which was also very like,
that was very but it was also like, yeah, it's true. That's the whole reason I like movies, because I can live vicariously through them.
Yeah, but he doesn't benefit from that, so
no,
that's why he kills himself.
But it was a nice sentiment, I suppose, even though it obviously didn't work for him. It wasn't enough.
But that was also one of those moments where they were just like, that's the magic of cinema. I was just like,
yeah. Like, it's dumb to put that in a film because we're literally watching a film. Yeah. We know, like, we're doing that. You don't have to tell us.
Do you know a movie that did that much better last year? I guess technically this year here in Sweden, unless you find it online. Wink, wink. The Fabelmans, the new. I
haven't watched it yet.
Oh my god!
Don't spoil it. It's on my list. I know I have to watch it. I know.
Yeah, it's no masterpiece, but it's a great movie, and it's about the love of cinema without like shoving cinema down your throat. It's beautiful that way.
Yes.
And it does it in under 3 hours, believe it or not. You know, it's still like 2.5 hours, but still, you know.
It's a little bit better,
Yeah, but it also has a lot else going on. Like there's wonderful, deep, layered characters, and there's relationships, and there's ups and downs, and there's family dynamic. There's stuff going on. It's not just stuff.
Yeah, there's substance to the stuff. It's not just exuberance.
It's not just glitzy
fucking noise.
It's not just glitzy surface shit, which is what this was. And and it's really.
It was all very pretty. That's the thing. It was just pretty.
Yeah, it's a classic. I've said it many times before. It's not my quote. It's from whatever his name, the Nostalgia Critic. I know it's sad, but still.
Yeah.
Pretty pictures plus lame story equals pretty lame. That's what this is. It's pretty lame because it's lame. It's just surface. And that sucks extra because it is Damien Chazelle who wrote and directed this. Like, the guy has made two of the best movies of the last century, I would say, Whiplash and La La Land. And First Man as well, great, but it's not on the same level.
I'll agree with Whiplash at least.
Oh my, you don't?
I'm not as entranced by La La Land. I like it a lot.
That movie has one of the greatest endings of all. It's in my top 3 endings of all time.
Oh, the ending is fantastic.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. The whole movie builds towards that ending. That's what I love so much.
Yeah, I know, but I did.
Oh my god. When he sees her in the club and he starts playing that song, that longing song.
Yeah.
That they both, connect through. That's when they saw each other the first time. And then they start dreaming of the life they could have had. And then he finishes the song. I'm just covering my eyes. I'm going to start crying. And they're just looking at they're just looking at each other without saying anything, and everyone else just starts applauding. It's the greatest thing. I can watch that ending over and over on YouTube, and I start crying every time. It's the greatest ending of all time. It is so fucking good.
Sure.
And that entire movie. If you want to talk about a movie that really captures the magic of the industry of cinema, that movie. Even though that's more,
Oh yeah, that movie has a much better storyline than this.
Yeah,
this, for Christ's sake.
But they both do the same thing. They talk about wanting to be
Hollywood.
La La Land wanted to be part of that, but also that there's sacrifice there, which makes it a lot more layered and introspective and interesting than this.
I think it also works better because La La Land has too much. The cast is too big. There's too many people who are in focus. There are too many names you need to remember. Too many names that keep popping up and faces that cross paths. And for Christ's sake, I know it's a small world and all that, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Stop having 50,000 people meeting up every single year all the fucking time. Can we cut some of them out?
Well, that's what I mean. This is
I don't understand why some people would give this like 100 on a Metascore.
Has it actually? I haven't even looked at the reviews.
It has two 100. It's a 60 though in a Metascore.
Yeah, I saw them. I saw that, but I haven't read any reviews.
It also does have 225s. So
yeah, and
but it's I mean, one of them is actually saying exactly what we did. Basically, the rap it's a hyped up cocaine conversation. Conversation of a movie, throwing out lots of ideas and images and mammoth set pieces without ever amounting to anything.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Because I told you just before we started recording that I have not actually rated it for my Letterboxd yet.
I have.
I simply could not bother. And I'm definitely not giving it a high score. This is not enjoyable.
No, yeah, exactly.
Which is a shame, because the way it's built up, the promotion for it, the trailers for it, unfortunately, most of it's taken from that first party scene, which is fantastic.
Yes, it was fun. That's what I say. Like
that amount of like noise and confusion works in one scene. We don't need an entire movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, like it's a great microcosm of the entire movie.
Yeah.
So when Babylon pops up on screen, like, oh, that's the movie. End.
We didn't was it me or you who said like, oh, this is where it should end?
Yeah, it was me. I was like,
came up.
Yay, credits, roll. Yeah, I gave it a 1.5 star, and I wrote, well, I liked that minute, like I said, just before the end when it turned into a Stan Brakhage film. The rest was bombastic, melodramatic, but well-produced garbage. This is the first movie in 5 years that drove me to drinking to dull the pain. Yeah, we separated
quickly.
but I had to wait for my train for a little while, and there was a one bar open at the train station, so I bought a beer. I would have bought another one, but my train came, so I couldn't. I was just like, I can't. I have to like forget this.
See, I don't know exactly what I'd rate it, because like you said, it's well produced. I'll give them that. It's 99% perfectly acted. Like, I have no real issue with any of the acting. It's fantastic. Yeah. Most of the like sound and music were fantastic as well. The costume and all of that, gorgeous, amazing. It's the script, I think, that is the main issue. And it ruins it completely. It ruins the experience completely. Because sometimes you can look past a bad story if you have pretty pictures. Here you can't. No. The story is so loud, or the script is so loud,
and it
drowns out the even louder music somehow.
And it's the director who's written it, so you know, like, sure, he's probably like having to cut corners here and there, but you know, in general, this is his vision.
Yes.
He wanted this. From the guy who made Whiplash.
I don't know, like...
He wanted this?
I'm not sure what he was trying to, like... What was he trying to do? Did he succeed? Is he happy with this? I don't know. I'm curious to know that. Can we call him up?
Yeah, if anyone has any connections, we would love to have Damien on. I mean, in general,
to explain this.
In general, I love him as a filmmaker, but I don't understand his vision here. I don't get it. For me, it's terrible.
Sorry, I read the first trivia on IMDb. Said that Emma Stone was originally cast in the lead role, which is then the Nellie
LaRoy.
No, not McRoy. LaRoy. But she couldn't do it. It was a conflict with production, blah, 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 the scheduling and shit. So then Margot Robbie replaced her, and the role was reworked to become more fictional in nature, because it was originally supposed to be based on Clara Bow.
Who's she?
Some old it girl from the...
She was in Wings.
20s, I suppose.
Okay, yeah.
Which, sure, but I don't know if Emma Stone and Margot Robbie would have played completely
different characters, exactly. That's why they reworked it.
Yeah. It's weird. A lot of it's obviously based on stuff they've seen in movies from the 20s, I suppose. I mean, yeah, Singing in the Rain is literally, like we said.
Of working with Margot Robbie for the role of Nellie, director Damien Chazelle said, I needed someone utterly fearless. I had a sense she would attack it. There's a sort of ravenous physical bravado to her. On the other hand, she's also the most technically skilled thespian you could hope to work with as a director. Yeah, but we really only see the fearless attack part. We don't really get the thespian part.
Yeah.
Not really.
No, I mean, not in this movie. We've seen it, but not in this movie.
Ah, look at this! Damien Chazelle pitched this film to a producer in 2009, before he was really anything in the business. He had written like a couple of scripts. Who thought it was a bit ambitious for the filmmaker at the time. Yeah, he did, however, like the idea of the film's relationship with music and suggested Chazelle try writing a musical, and so this film idea would ultimately become La La Land. So
so this is just his like fever dream startup,
which he wrote when he was young, like, and now he has the money and the clout to make it. Maybe he shouldn't have.
So he went all out.
It's like a script I have that I wrote when I was like in. I wasn't even in high school yet. It's this super weird, pretentious script, which it's one of the few I've ever finished, and I was so happy with it. But like reading it now, it's pretty bad. Like if I would make that, like if I was become famous and like, oh, now I'm gonna make this movie, like that would be my bad. It would be terrible. Like, but I can see that.
Yeah.
And he should have seen the same with this. It feels like, you know. But I guess
I just found an answer to my question earlier about the female director.
Oh yeah.
Olivia Hamilton was the actress who played her, by the way. I don't know. I didn't recognize her from something specific, but she was based on Dorothy Arzner. I don't know how to pronounce that. The only woman director in early Hollywood who, due to restrictions of early talkies, it's said that she was responsible for creating the boom pole, as she asked to put a microphone on a fishing rod in order to not restrict actors' movements.
That's good. Yeah.
That's cool. It's sad though that they didn't depict her properly in this movie. Then, if they just wanted to like add some more history into it, why not add that? Well,
no, because they had to show Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie drinking and dancing and doing drugs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, like, I think we should just quit.
Yeah, no, I'm over it. I'm still a little bit like, am I giving you this a 1 star or like 1.5 at least?
I give 1.5. I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't even get A for effort for me.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
I liked the. Yeah, I liked the acting. That's mainly what I liked. I did like the visuals, but it was a bit much.
Yeah. But I mean, even for me, like, the acting, I mean, it
wasn't phenomenal, but it was good.
Maybe it was by design, but it felt very, like, hyper and over the top. But I mean, that's
I think it was
to be, you know.
Yeah, I think it was to make us see the difference between them acting in the movie and them being just their characters.
Yeah, sure.
They had to, like, you know, show us that when they acted back in the days, they had to exaggerate and shit. I don't know. Could be something like that. I will say that this movie is very misleading when you look at the trailers and the promotional material. Because it looks like one grand party and it's fucking not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna leave it at 1 star. 1 out of 5. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I also think that this is where we round this episode off.
Yeah, because I don't have anything else to say.
We're gonna try and find a fitting movie to have as the companion piece, where we might obviously.
I mentioned actually doing Singing in the Rain because it's about the same thing.
Yes, we did talk about that.
And like I said, I've never actually seen the whole movie, so it'd be fun to actually watch it for once. But I gotta point out, if anything, that's admirable. This movie, I don't know, it for all how long and huge and grand it is, it only cost $7-8 million. Yeah.
Only.
But that's basically the catering for a Marvel movie. So at least it wasn't like a $200 million monstrosity. It was just a $7-8 million monstrosity.
Yeah. I just found Amanda the Jedi's Letterboxd review. It's a very short review. The best movie to feature James Cameron's Avatar. She didn't like the sequel, as far as I understand, but
wow.
She gave it a 4-star. Like, yeah, this is a good movie. I'm like, okay. But I mean, the man carrying thing, he gave it a 5-star.
He did? No.
Yeah, unless I'm looking at someone who's made an account that is not him.
No, that is him. I know that's
but
him.
It looks like him.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Damn it, because Amanda the Jedi, I don't see her. See her as a great film critic. I'm sorry, because she's part of that clique of people on YouTube.
Yeah.
No offense. Yeah, whatever. But man carrying thing.
Though
damn it.
His review says a genuinely bold movie starts off by shitting on the audience and goes down from there. The anti-Boogie Nights, angry, deceptive, but ultimately bittersweet. Just wait 10 years and people will be calling it a masterpiece. Disgusting in a way that isn't glorious. Actual trash, fantastic.
Okay.
But he gave it 5 stars.
That's
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Actual trash, but yeah, okay.
Fantastic.
I see what he's saying, but I wouldn't give that then 5 stars.
No, exactly. And you can't give it sarcastically 5 stars.
I think that's what he's done, though. That, the movie's so terrible that it becomes good. Not in the same way, so bad it's good, but it's supposed to be terrible. If that makes any sense.
I guess.
But for me, that is not a 5-star. A 5-star is legendary great stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway. Now we're just dragging on, and we can't do that. Not with this.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. We're done. We are going to do
Singing in the Rain
for the companion piece.
So if you want to,
where we might develop our discussion on this,
So if you want to listen to our discussion on Singing in the Rain, check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. There's also, at this point, literally hundreds of hours of exclusive episodes and commentary tracks and some videos. So check that out, and we will see you in the next episode, where we think we're doing The Exorcist.
We're Exorcist,
Exorcist
right?
3, yeah. So check that out. But until then, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
The Spoilercast is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It is produced and directed by Tobias Vedén and hosted by Tobias and Rebecca Vedén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén and Laura Kinney. I also want to give a huge shout out to all our patrons over on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Mom, Dad, Laura Kinney, Daddy Del Gaiso, and Mac and Mom.